move the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975. Be advised that notice of this meeting was made by posting on the bulletin board, town hall, and 17 officially designated newspapers, indicating that the meeting would take place at the community center at 6:30 p.m. on this date. The fire exits are located in the far right corner of the back, and you might meet directly in front. Per Resolution 156-20, establishing rules of conduct and decorum for public meetings, please be advised of the following. All members of the public will step up to the designated public microphone, state for the record their name before addressing mayor and council. Roll call, please.
Councilman Andriotta?
Here.
Councilman Haynes?
Here.
Councilman Hurley?
Here.
Councilman McDonald is absent. Councilman Slugbear?
Here.
Council President Burnside?
Here.
Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two appointments tonight for the Board of Health, Mary Beth Oriana and Priscilla Damasi. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Their 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2027. Council reports. Councilman Haynes.
Good evening, Mayor, fellow council members, and our public. DPW team had a busy couple of weeks dealing with a 2-day windstorm, which closed a couple of local roadways due to downed trees. The team put up temporary road closure signs while also removing the trees. In one case, a chain link fence was damaged. Team also dealt with a small minor storm that ended up in a plowing event. And along with that, we had 2 call-outs for salting on the icy roadways. Employees also responded to an overnight water leak on Stickle Avenue. According to Billy, if the nice weather holds up, DPW will begin working on spring cleanups on our parks and recreation sites. They will also begin working on the fields once they properly dry out for the spring sports. Councilman Hurley and I attended a League of Municipalities event at the Birchwood Manor last week. The guest speaker was Mike Serra, who is the executive director of the New Jersey League. He gave what he calls a state of the state. Among the topics discussed were COA, affordable housing, this year's upcoming state budget, which he didn't speak very highly of, and the concern many share over the rising costs of the state benefits. Apparently, the program has seen a rise of 22% in 2023, along with a 17% increase in 24. And he felt if it sustained at this current rate, it would not be able to stay alive much longer. So that was kind of sobering news. Regarding the Board of Education, a couple highlights from this past Tuesday's meeting. The board had a successful completion of the annual audit for the 23-24 school year with only a couple of minor findings that were of no concern. The county accepted the school board's utilization of their emergency reserves. The board approved allocation of special services in district as well as out-of-district placements. According to President Graff, this seems to be becoming an increasing trend. The board also voted to approve President Graff's draft of a letter that will be sent to the state representatives. The letter highlights the challenges that the school district is facing, including that the board is receiving less reimbursement in extraordinary state aid. By the board's calculation, they only received 62% last year. They'd also asked for general support of the state to review funding formulas and special services. And they also plan to send a copy to the mayor and our council. And that is my report.
Thank you. Motion to accept the report of Councilman Haynes.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Andriotta.
Aside from congratulating the 2 new Board of Health members, nothing to report.
Councilman Slugbear.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Borough residents. Report's pretty easy tonight. We had an ordinance meeting we did some good work, got some things done. I'll give you 2 topics for tonight. We're talking about impervious coverage for property owners. This is
What
one topic, working with our engineer on
What coverage?
impervious.
Okay.
Also, we're working on a property maintenance code, also working with, at the end of the day, Mr. Bell. Try to get some finalized soon before spring breaks out. We don't have a next date, we're gonna do an email connection for everybody to get the date together, we have the next meeting. So, Mr. Councilman, thank you, Mr. Early. Environmental, can't talk tonight, environmental committee. I'm still searching for members, I had another person interested tonight, so, for me, that resume. For an environmental committee, I'd like to see hopefully 8 members. You know, we have a great foundation to work off with, and I'd like to see that much more involved in the town. So, again, maybe we put that in the line in front of the firehouse, Patty. We can look for members.
Yep.
The other thing is Memorial Association, you know, that's our yearly parade in town. Our next meeting is March 4th, 6:30, at post 344. And like I mentioned once before, we're partnered with Picatinny Historical Society. They're giving the committee a private tour of Picatinny Arsenal. That's going to be late March, which I'm really looking forward to.
Have you ever done that before?
I've been up there for it.
It's pretty amazing up there.
I've been up there many times. It's an interesting base. It's not what it used to be, but it's pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's my report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
So with Memorial Day, I know you've gotten a lot of requests for additional banners and things like that. And
Correct.
Right, we only have, I'll call it limited telephone poles in the middle of town. So we're
Correct.
gonna have to expand, further down, well, maybe now down West Main Street just because of the construction going on, but, down maybe East Main Street, Beach Street, Jackson, to find these additional, maybe further down Church Street.
I like to celebrate the people who show military service in Rockaway Borough. So if we could expand like Jackson Avenue, which would be nice, the river would be nice. Church Street, maybe a couple more on Wall Street, Academy Street, a couple more on Main Street, maybe even Beach Street, because that's the original parade route from 156 years ago. So if we could do that, that'd be great. I do have people interested in 3 more out of our police department.
Okay, the other thing I'm gonna ask then, if you could have a number of how many polls you wanna do, so we'll have it for Saturday for the capital budget, because we will have to budget for those additional polls in the capital budget.
No, well, go ahead.
At least 30 polls.
Didn't we put that in the budget for the request for the flags, the hardware that was along with that?
I didn't put no request in from.
No, we don't.
No.
Any additional flag we want, we would have to budget for.
I'm talking about banners for veterans.
Yes.
Veterans,
Yeah.
The banners, I'd like the ambulance banners.
Right, so you're looking for an additional 30 polls?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll have to get the cost and I'll allot it for the capital.
I already have
budget
to
for
lost where
Saturday.
you can get to you on Saturday.
No, not the actual polls, I'm sorry, the brackets.
I already have to also get that on Saturday. I have also brackets.
Oh, yeah, the cost, okay,
Yeah,
if you
really
can send it
close.
to me, I will update the people, the sheets for Saturday.
Fair enough. All right, thank you. That's reports for tonight, yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks. Motion to accept the report of Councilman Slocum.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Councilman Hurley?
Thank you, Mayor, fellow council members, and members of the public. Start off with the Finance Committee. Just a reminder, Saturday, 9 a.m. Be here. It's our budget meeting, and we will need to schedule another budget meeting for March the 8th, Saturday, March the 8th. As Patty and I have been talking about it, we're just starting to receive state aid numbers now. She'll need some time to work with our auditor and kind of work that into the budget. So this Saturday when we meet, we're going to focus on capital. We're going to take kind of a complete deep dive into all the proposals for capital. And then when we meet on the 8th, Patty will have the whole wrap up for the proposed spending plan, and we'll work on it there. So if you could please just mark in March 8th, and we'll be there. I have not heard any updates from Morris County Human Services, Health and Human Services on the 2025 CD Community Block Grant Development applications. Still waiting. Patty hasn't heard anything, and
Oh, I got
we
it.
haven't heard anything on the 2024.
We just got word yesterday.
Oh, we did. It came in very.
So they did approve the 2024 CDBG for like 71,970, it's a weird number. but, they are not extending the deadline, so I had a conversation with Samantha, the engineer, and Billy. And because the area that we're looking to do on East New Street is not a big area, they both feel that we can accomplish it in a timely manner. And, so we are going to accept it because, we just wanna make sure we can get it, cause if we don't have it done by February 28th, we're asking for an extension, they said they would give it to us, we then would not get the grant. But we feel for the size of it, we can do the project in that time frame.
Great, so it just came in.
Just came in
Very
yesterday.
good. But we haven't heard anything, you haven't heard anything on the 25 application?
No, nothing on 25 yet.
Moving into council activities, along with, as Councilman Haynes mentioned, we were at the Morris County League of Municipalities meeting. One other thing they did talk about, might just want to keep in the back of your mind, is that the state is rolling 3 programs into one. I think it's called PS2. It's the Senior Freeze, it's the
Anchor program
Anchor
in New
program,
Jersey Stay.
and this New Jersey Stay. So you apply once, and then it starts coming through. But Patty and our tax collector, Susan, did a great job with the senior citizens last Thursday and went through all of the programs and what to look out for, so.
So what I'm also trying to do is the state has said that they would come to a town and talk or, so I'm trying to see if I can get Assembly of God, because I think it would be a bigger, place to hold everyone, a facility. And once I get some dates and approval from Pastor over there, I will then go to the state, give them the dates and I'm going to try to set up a public meeting so that the state can answer everybody's questions. Because Susan and I, we're on a webinar on it, but again, we're very limited on what information. It's a little unclear to us, so I think it'd be better if we could get the state in and let them do the presentation. So that is my goal, and I am working on that, currently working on that, and as soon as I have more information or am able to set something up, I will be getting the information out.
Very good, very good. And then around town, on a really, really positive note, last Sunday, the Historical Committee opened up and unveiled a brand new exhibit. The exhibit is entitled Rockaway Borough into Space. One of our longtime residents, when he was a young engineer in 1959, worked for Reaction Motors Division over on Stickle Avenue. His name is Bob Comer. His family grew up in town, still is in town, member of the senior group. And it seems that Bob did an incredible thing. He invented something called the vectoring rocket nozzle. In 1959, when you shot a rocket up, it kind of like went on its own, and you could steer it with kind of some flaps. Bob invented, over on Stickle Avenue, a rocket nozzle that you could steer, and it was ultimately used in the lunar landing module in 1969 when we stepped foot on the moon. Bob completely designed it from A to Z, from concept all the way through to a patent. And he has the patents, and he donated all of his drawings, sketches, the official documentation, everything from Reaction Motors Division, Morton Thiokol, up to the US patent that he received for it. And it was used not only in the space module, but also on the Atlas rockets so that they could maneuver them. Bob is a great guy. We unveiled the display. Councilman Slockbauer was there last Sunday. The museum was filled. We've never had so many people in the museum. It was well over 20, 25 people. His entire family was there, very proud. And Bob stayed around and answered questions for a couple of hours about how he invented it and how it was applied. So we have another hero and another famous person from Rockaway Borough. But my invitation to you all is please stop by the museum. This is one that I would say, in my opinion, would be deserving of display at a national museum such as the Aeronautical and Space Museum at the Smithsonian, because it is such a critical part. Without it, you couldn't steer the lunar module, and his invention allows the pilot or the captain or the astronaut to be able to maneuver and actually drive and steer the module. So
I gotta make a comment there also. He's a gentleman.
he's a gentleman, true gentleman.
Very open to everybody, had a nice conversation with him, 2.5 hours he was there for.
Yeah.
These are our heroes, live next door. This man's not just an engineer, he's also a veteran, Marine Corps veteran.
Yeah.
So these are our neighbors, people. We have heroes in this town. All we gotta do is talk to them.
Impressive.
Rockaway's a fabulous town. I can't say anything bad about it. It's a great place to live. Tom Haynes knows that as well as I do, growing up here. Great town.
So a lot of the things that happened in Rockaway Borough that we're proud of, and we have George here tonight, he was instrumental in the 911 memorial, which was built in the same building on Stickle Avenue. So as you look around the town, there's a lot to be proud of, and there's a lot that we can boast to the rest of the world that it happened here first, so. With that, that's my report, Mayor, thank you.
Motion to accept the report, Councilman Hurley.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council President Bernstein.
Thank you, Mayor. On February 19th, I attended the library board meeting. January was a busy month with quite an increase in resident library cards being issued. They hosted in January several programs on healthy living. Still check out the online library chef offerings. There's 3 live cooking classes over Zoom every month. Maine, which is the multi-library county system that we belong to, is deploying a new system called the Integrated Library System. So as a result, being able to go online and hold books will be paused until the end of March, but you can still go in person to hold books. Winter Storytime, crafts, tweens, and teen game clubs have all been very popular. There are 2 exciting programs happening in March for adults. There's going to be a 70s, 80s, and 90s trivia night on March 3rd at 6 p.m. Registration is required. And this one I think is very cool. They're going to hold an antique roadshow. So you have to register. It's March 31st at 6 o'clock. You register. They have a gentleman who's going to run the program. He's a radio announcer and auctioneer. And he will allow everyone registered to bring 2 items that he will appraise. So if you think you have an antique in your home that might be worth money, bring it to the library on the 31st, but pre-register. I just find that Melissa, the librarian, she remains very committed to our town. She attended a community leaders breakfast at Divine Mercy, and she's also working with Patty to secure more cost-effective and improved cleaning services for the library. Last Friday, Patty and I met to put numbers to the incentives that we've outlined and discussed for our volunteer firefighters. And just as a reminder, that's partial payment for gym memberships, waiving cat and dog license fees, increasing their clothing allowance, some level of tuition reimbursement, and a stipend for ultimately completing Firefighter 1 training. Related to the police, hot off the press, I have a press release that I would like to read. This just came out this afternoon. And the title is Mendham Township Woman Charged in Marijuana Distribution. Morris County Prosecutor Robert Carroll, Morris County Prosecutor's Office Chief of Detectives Robert McNally, and the Rockaway Borough Police Chief Conrad Pepperman announced the arrest of Julian Lombrano, 28, of Mendham Township, for possession with the intent to distribute a controlled dangerous substance, which rose from an investigation of marijuana distribution in Rockaway Borough. The complaint alleges that between April and November of last year, Lombrano distributed marijuana without a license from the High Supply Smoke Shop located at 3 Bank Street in Rockaway Borough. As a result of the investigation, on November 20th, detectives executed a search warrant at the business. Marijuana, hashish, and paraphernalia were seized, along with $6,000 of suspected narcotic proceeds. As a result of the investigation, on February 12th, Lombrano was charged with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute a controlled dangerous substance in the 3rd degree, and 1 count of possession of a controlled dangerous substance. Furthermore, the Randolph Health Department, on behalf of the borough, charged Lombrano with a local ordinance for health code violations. Obviously, anyone is presumed innocent until they are found guilty, But I think this is just another great example of amazing police work in our town.
I know they've been working hard on that investigation, so it's finally good to see, result here.
That's my report.
Motion to accept the report of Council President Burnside.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Attorney?
Good evening, everybody. Just very briefly, I've been working on a few mainly property maintenance related ordinances and items, trying to assist with the rollout of some improvements in that. Beyond that, there's just really the activated carbon bid that's on tonight. There were some issues with that. The engineer concurs, but we're going to put it back out for bid, and we think that we should be good in terms of avoiding any issues next time around. That would be my report.
Motion to accept the report of the attorney.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? For the mayor, a couple things here. So next Tuesday, I'll be attending at Lincoln School to support the Read Across America, where we get to read books to some of the students there, so that's always a good time. So I think Councilman Hurley, you normally,
Always there with and stuff.
anybody else come? Yep, so it's a great event. The kids are just so inquisitive, you know. They don't even focus on the book, they're ready with their other questions to ask, so it's kind of cool. This past Saturday, I attended a family bowling event sponsored by the Municipal Alliance Committee, as well as the Rockaway Borough Police and Rockaway Township Police Departments. And it was a great turnout from not just the police that attended, but all the families that were there at bowling alley. It was empty, so they always do a good time, good thing with that. A little public service announcement. I'm sure it's going through the media pretty quick. But they've found additional voids on Route 80 East, and so their initial timeline to have that completed and open is pretty much out the window. So still waiting to hear, future timelines of what they need to do. I think they've run across at least 90 voids.
They went up to 130 today. They drilled over 130, now they found additional voids that they're correct.
Something else that we've been putting out within the past day that we received from RPM, West Main Street in Rockaway will be partially closed on weeknights for the utility work that's planned from March 3rd to March 14th. Beginning this Monday, West Main Street will be closed between Nichols Drive and Mount Pleasant Ave in the borough for various utility installations related to the ongoing site development located at 216 West Main Street. And then also with that, with the RPM, we got an update on the construction, what's going on there, the leasing. So basically the RPM project is slated to be finished with construction in the second quarter of 2026. RPM will lease and manage the development. The leasing team will create a website for the development approximately 6 to 9 months prior to construction completion. They will also market the development via local media and banners. The project's landing webpage will include project-specific information, unit affordability levels, and will also provide an opportunity for interested parties to submit pre-application information to be included in the housing lottery. The lottery is usually held several months prior to construction completion. For example, if they're going to move in tenants on May 1st, they'll hold the lottery in February. Once the lottery is held, RPM will send full electronic applications to interested parties in the order based on the lottery results. The full applications will be reviewed, and tenants who meet all the requirements will be notified as to the move-in dates. So it's nice to see some dates there. Something else that we've been talking about recently, a FEMA update with the flood maps that was given us from the DEP and FEMA. The reasoning for the new flood map is due to the existing FEMA flood maps are being outdated and over 40 years old. The current maps are using hydraulics. Risks to flooding have changed over time as a result of the topography and hydrology changes within the watersheds. New and updated and more detailed information is now available that was not utilized 40 years ago, and that's been taken into consideration for the new mapping. Our engineer has reached out to the DEP about the process for notifying questions that residents may have regarding the new flood maps. Once these maps are released by FEMA as preliminary, there will be a post-preliminary process period that will last over a 1-year time frame. During the period, there will be a 90-day appeal and comment period when the public can submit appeals or comments on the mapping to FEMA. Also, there will be a public open house where residents can come to the event and sit down one-on-one with someone that can go over their specific property location and how the new map will impact their flood insurance. FEMA, New Jersey DEP usually work with the county and local communities on getting out the word for this public meeting. FEMA, DEP will not be notifying residents directly. There is no requirement that the county or municipality notify residents. However, once the borough receives a list from FEMA regarding the affected properties, the borough will send out letters to those residents. And if we get the list before the FEMA sets their public meeting, we'll make sure to include this information in the letters. So that's the latest that we have gotten regarding that. And that's it for me. Motion to accept the report of the mayor?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Board of Administrator?
You did such a good job, I have no report, I'm just gonna request a closed session for contract negotiations.
Motion to accept the report of the administrator?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Board of Clerk?
I have no report.
Resolutions, consent agenda. 41-25, approved special event permit application, Just Jersey Fest. 42-25, refund police outside duty overpayment. 43-25, request approval of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services to establish a dedicated trust by rider for developers' contribution for restoration trust fund donations in accordance with NGSA 40A 4-29. 44-25, as our attorney said, we are rejecting all bids for the granular carbon. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve resolutions contained in the consent agenda commencing with 41-25, all through and inclusive of 44-25.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Andriotta?
Yes.
Councilman Heath?
Yes.
Councilman Hurley?
Yes.
Councilman Slocum?
Yes.
Council President Bernseth?
Yes.
We have one ordinance for introduction, amending chapter 170, land use design and performance standards. This ordinance removes all references to beautification projects as required in order to establish a dedicated trust by rider for developers' contribution for restoration trust fund, or, I'm sorry, reforestation trust fund donation. There was a typo, but it's not. So reforestation trust fund donations. Got a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Andriotta?
Yes.
Councilman Heath?
Yes.
Councilman Hurley?
Yes.
Councilman Slocum?
Yes.
Council President Bernseth?
Yes.
We have one ordinance for adoption, 25-03, amending chapter 169, land use administration and procedures. This ordinance adjusts fees charged under chapter 169, land use administration procedures. Article 5, fees and escrow deposits in the code of the ordinance of the Borough of Rockaway to comply with the standard required by the state of New Jersey, and this has to do with the code fees. You have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
For this ordinance only, I'd like to open the meeting to the public. Hearing none, close the meeting to the public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Andriotta?
Yes.
Councilman Heath?
Yes.
Councilman Hurley?
Yes.
Councilman Slocum?
Yes.
Council President Bernseth?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to open the meeting to the public.
Katie Fox, 66 West Park Street. Hello. I have a couple of questions on the agenda items and reports and a brief statement, if that's okay.
Excuse me, which?
I've got a couple of questions and a brief statement to make, if that's okay. So no one mentioned it in their report, but I attended the land use board meeting yesterday, along with Bonnie, the Ridgeview at Rockaway Apartments on 46. That application has been approved, and they'll craft the resolution, I think, at the next meeting. And then I wanted to ask about the site remediation efforts at the library. I think it'd be really helpful if you can start including some sort of report from that in the DPW report that the council liaison gives, or the administrator. just given that that's ongoing, there's lots of moving parts, you're communicating with DEP, it'd be good for the public to know. The tree ordinance, I know you didn't mention that in your report, Mr. Slotbauer, about the tree ordinance that was just introduced. But they did talk about trees a little bit at the lightning board meeting yesterday, so you may want to watch that. It's online, just to get a sense of what I think is happening, but I'm going to talk about that more at the public hearing. And then I was also at the historical committee, no, I didn't go to the meeting, at the museum last Sunday. Yeah, it was super busy, it was nice. I met Mr. Bob Edwards, he was very chatty, lots of nice things to say, but it was a good time. And then you mentioned the smoke shop, selling cannabis illegally. I think, I'm not sure who would be responsible for this, obviously it's a criminal investigation now, but I personally have always had a little bit of an issue with where it's located in the Quick Check sort of parking lot, because it's right there looking towards East Main Street, and then on the corner next to Pizza Rustica is Prevention is Key, an addiction treatment centre. Don't know who looks at zoning, whether there is anything that you can do now that there's Board of Health violations, potentially criminal ones, just something to think about, just for obvious reasons. And then, yeah, that's it for those things, and then my statement. Okay. Hello Mayor, Council members and borough residents. So last week, I was doing some online research for the social media accounts that I manage, and I came across something that alarmed me, and I'd like to explain to you what I discovered, so you can decide for yourself if it's alarming to you as well. So I'm not sure if you've heard of tapinto.net, but it's an online local news and digital marketing franchise that began as a website focused on community news in New Providence in 2008. Since then, it has grown dramatically through franchising, and there are now Tapinto franchises in many towns and cities across New Jersey, all with their own independent websites and social media pages. Rockaway Borough doesn't have one, but you've probably seen or heard of Tapinto Dembo. They feature articles about Morris Knowles and Morris Hills Sports, Dembo Mayor and Council updates, Dembo police reports, community events, posts about Dembo Life, sponsored content, articles from the Tapinto network, and local business ads, as well as political campaign advertising, such as press releases and candidate statements. According to the Tapinto franchise, Tapinto Dembo is owned by Drumlish Consulting LLC, and the editor is our Mayor, Tom Mulligan. But the fact that Mr. Mulligan is the editor of an online news organization for a neighbouring town that features political campaign advertising and borough business advertisements is not the thing that alarmed me, despite the fact that he says he doesn't use social media. What alarmed me is discovering that Drumlish Consulting, the listed owner of Tapinto Dembo, was registered as an LLC with the state in April 2024 by Mayor Tom Mulligan. I know this because I've seen the state business registration documents, which include the mayor's name, his Rockaway Borough address, and the business purpose of Drumlish Consulting, which is municipal consulting, project management, and media. So my question to all of you is this: is it just me, or does this feel like a conflict of interest for a politically connected individual, or should I say elected government official, to own and edit an online news franchise in a neighbouring town without publicly disclosing it? Or is it a question of ethics and a betrayal of trust for Rockaway Borough residents who can't get the mayor or the administrator, to be fair, to do more for the borough on social media, or even put public meetings on the digital sign outside town hall? Anyway, I know that's a lot, so I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this matter in the near future. Thank you. That was a lot, so you can use what I wrote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Angelo Natal, 151 Mount Pleasant Avenue. Administrator, I have a question. When I talked to you over a week ago about 156 Mount Pleasant Avenue for the snow, and DPW didn't go out there. Is there a reason?
I'm not sure what their work
No,
schedules.
I'm asking
No,
her. Is there a reason?
Schedule, it's my meeting.
Okay, no problem.
You can ask me.
Okay, so what's the reason why DPW couldn't go there?
Perhaps they were on other assignments, something like that.
But you went there instead with a snow shovel.
I did.
Okay, just want to make sure so everybody can know, so she knows, DPW knows that you actually went out there.
Yeah.
So now, 156 and 192 Mount Pleasant Avenue, how do we rectify that? For the water going down the driveways itself and the road.
Well, with the bond, our engineer will be out there. Obviously, I think 156 is the one down below, right?
Yes.
So we've already been out there, talking to the engineer. So, but we haven't gotten any complaints from the residents.
So,
But,
okay, so you didn't have a complaint, but you took grant money from DOT, am I correct?
Yep.
Okay, so you took the DOT grant money. Did you follow the plans?
As far
So
as,
Joe Bell will know this one. You have a set of plans, and you don't follow it. What is it called? I've given to the mayor, to administrator, and to Kim email showing videos of water going down these driveways. And she had told me they have to complain. When you actually took the grant money and performed the driveway, the road, it's not correct. Out of 32 driveways, you know how many are correct? 5. Now, overzealous, he's telling me. If I was overzealous, I would say you need to do at least 27 more driveways. No. So, if I see a house that's on fire, I don't own that house. Do I have to own that house to call it in? It's the same thing. The driveway, so I call, you guys are escalating. Actually, everybody here in the council, on that set of plans, your names are on it. So we had to escalate this, just like the library got escalated to the DEP. Now, you just said you didn't hear no complaints. Well, I'm telling you, that fire, I'm telling you, the water's going down the driveway. Here, let's escalate it now. So I called the DOT, told them what was going on, sent them videos, and they knew I was correct. And they said I have to go through the town engineer. Now, you make me go left and right to make this work. And you told me they have to call you for a complaint. They told me they gave the grant money, you have to follow those plans. So now, they're gonna escalate it to the Attorney General. Do we have to go through that route? I mean, this is a joke. So, if I tell you those driveways are wrong, and I had said to you, to the mayor, make sure the engineer goes there with a level and a ruler. And you told me Billy would go out there with the engineer. Well, they told me, not me, but DOT is looking at fraudulent itself. Now, the town library, not my words, DEP, because I actually have it on my phone because they text and email me, is illegal dumping. So this town's known as what? Illegal? Now what are we gonna be looking at? Fraudulent? I didn't put us in this position. You guys did. And every single one of you council members, your name is actually on those plans itself. That's why I would just go and do it. Because as a business contractor, when somebody complains to me, I just take care of it. Now, on Crestwood Drive, I have no faith or trust in the engineers. And I tried to give you the inside, how you can get by with the piping. And Samantha said, I said before there was no perforated pipe. On the plans, it calls for perforating piping. What's the sense of making a set of plans? Because now there's actually a video in that pipe itself. And it shows no perforated pipe. What are we looking at again? I didn't create this. Actually, you guys elected or voted for this engineer. This engineer is not suited to be our engineer for the town. Just like for the library, you spent $3,165 for a set of plans. I'm beating on the DPW. The engineers, when I talked to you, Administrator, about when are you gonna remove the fill? And you said no material has to be removed. It said to remove unwanted fill and to make the grade 3 to 1 or less. On both tasks, they failed. They didn't even do anything. So again, we, the public, we paid for this from our taxes, and that's fraudulent again, because you made paperwork and you delivered zero. I mean, who's gonna take this brunt? No answers, huh? But remember, Administrator, you told me nobody's complained, and you're actually on video itself. So in other words, the DOT, the Attorney General, they're gonna be looking into it. Because why? You escalated this, not me. And 1 year ago, with this library, why is it taking so long for zero to be done?
We have a deadline of May 19th.
No, I understand it, but from $350 a truckload before then, what are you talking about? A minimum, maybe $700? Well, wait a minute, you need somebody to excavate? It goes way higher than that. I did my homework, I gave you the cubic footage, how many yards, how much it's gonna cost. And the last question I wanna ask, it's 40 months now, a little over 3 years for the DPW building. Samantha drew those plans, she sealed it, signed it. 40 months to complete. And then that's when I called you, the mayor, about make sure they use the ductile iron pipe, because that's what's on the plan itself. Well, the job became like a Hulk because you told me they had to order it. That was at least from November. I mean, that was a 3-day job, and this is 40 months. 40 months. I mean, that's a joke. I mean, this town needs better engineering so they can guard DPW itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Any other comments from the public?
Joe Saga, 15 Academy Street in Rockaway Borough. Mayor Mulligan, members of the council that goes down West Main Street on the corner of Lakeside Drive and West Main Street by a bus stop. The construction signs are too low. I would like somebody to go out there before somebody gets hurt and somebody cuts their head open and you're gonna have a major lawsuit. Second of all, I went past that job site plenty of times and seen trucks going in and out of that job site. Mr. Mayor, you told me that the contractor put rubber matting on the exit going out of that job site. He didn't do it. Dirt from the exit of that job site all the way up to Grandma's attic up there, rocks in the middle of the road. Those are the two complaints I got, because the signs are too low, blocking the sidewalk on Lakeside and Main Street. West Main Street, they put it right on the bus, right on the bus stop. Too low, people getting in and out of the bus. Third thing that I've been noticing at 7 o'clock in the morning, because I get up at 4:30 every morning taking people to work, and I'm up there before the crack of dawn. The traffic on Route 46 is lining up from Franklin Avenue all the way down towards Trend Motors. Morris Knowles problem. You're gonna have somebody if somebody going up there fast and swerves into that traffic, somebody's gonna get killed. Number 4, I know about the Route 80 traffic coming to Rockaway. I've been talking to troopers who were assigned from Route 46 all the way up to Wharton. I also talked to troopers on Route 46 to Route 10. They had 17 troopers when the sinkhole happened. 2 on Route 80 East, 1 over by the car wash over by Cliff's Ice Cream, 1 down by the circle, and 5 more going up Route 10. You got 1 on Howard Boulevard, Dell Avenue, and Hercules Road. You got 1 on Campfield Avenue by the firehouse at 46. Got 1 on South Main Street and 46. Because of the traffic, they either coming up off of 80, coming up to Denville, coming to Rockaway. Because the troopers I know who were assigned to that, they got 20 troopers working every day from 6 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, and that's all at state. Miss Burnside, I'm sorry to ask you a question. Did you remember how we did all the pavers? Was that under former Mayor Mary Lockwood that we got the grants from?
I don't think it was that long ago, Joe.
Because I remember it was phase 1 stopped at the hardware store in front of Ray and Judy's, and then phase 2 went down. They stopped right there in Wall Street. Could we try to work something to get help somebody, help you to get a grant for that? Because I remember it was only $150,000 the first project. Second project was another $150,000. She stopped it. She got the $300,000. It was a split grant. That's how we worked it. But we like to see the completion from Wall Street, and it would be beautiful to put some pavers there. Number 6, Mr. Mayor, we put a new signboard in front of the firehouse. I like to see it being utilized more for mayor and council meetings, land use management meetings, board of health meetings, recreation meetings, and put the fire department for volunteers back up so we can get volunteers in our community. Fire department's only 25 members, and boy, I don't want to go and see a paid fire department in my community. I want volunteers. And that's all I have to say, because that's when they swept it. There's no matting on that, and the signs are too low, and we would like them to be either put on a stand or taken down from those locations so nobody gets hurt. Because, like I said, somebody gets hurt, they're gonna sue the town. And I don't need no more lawsuits in our town.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hi, Bonnie Hook, 23 Jackson. I got some over requests back, but they're not completed. Couple points. One of the things I was asking was how long our accountant was with us, and you guys said 5 years. It came back as she's been here since 2014, so it's 11 years. So I just thought I'd let you know that. The balance of the tree fund that we couldn't remember, we have $11,409.12 in it. I have a question about the Shade Tree Commission. I was always told there wasn't one, and then now I see there's been, like, the last several years, 25,000 put into it. Can you explain it to me, because I'm not familiar with that. Can you tell me what the situation is with it? I did read the ordinance of the committee. There's supposed to be 5 people on a committee. Like, who is this committee? Can you get me up to date if you don't mind, please?
So it's not a committee, that line, I guess, is really maybe mislabeled, and it's really on borough property. That's the money that we are using to cut those trees down.
And what is this other tree fund with $11,000 in it? This is a separate one?
So prior to me getting here, they were putting, when somebody had to give money in lieu of taking trees down, replanting trees, they were putting them in individual accounts. Now with this dedication by rider, this all will be merged in together.
Okay. So, I mean, my question is then, you know, a whole last two summers, three, I mean, there's been dead trees out on Jackson Ave River forever that I have been mentioning, asking about, that not only for them to be replaced, but for the dead to be taken down so nobody gets hurt. And they're still there. I mean, nobody does, I mean, we have all this money and we're not doing it. It gets frustrating.
Well, the money in the budget is to take them down. The trust are not, the whole point of the trust is replacing. We can't use the trust money to take a tree down.
So we can't afford to take a couple little dead trees down, or our DPW can't do that, or we have to hire a tree guy? Is that the thing? We hire? Do we hire tree guys? The DPW doesn't
Well, we'll take another look.
do it?
We'll take another look.
Okay, and I just have to say, I was very disappointed to hear Katie's statement here, and I hope we have an explanation for this, and, or, you know, some kind of statement or something, because it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like it's in the residents' favor.
What's that?
The situation with what Katie read with being, I'm just shocked after somebody telling us that you don't do social media, and all of a sudden we hear that you own an online newspaper business. I mean, that's crazy.
For Denville.
For Danville, that even makes it more interesting.
I can't do Rockaway Borough.
Oh, okay.
That's a
Okay.
conflict.
And you don't think Danville's a conflict?
No.
Same engineers, same, you know, none of that's a conflict.
It's high school sports, it's, you know.
I'm just saddened for Rockaway Borough residents that, you know, you refuse to do any social media for, like, not that you have to do it personally, but you can't even have an employee do a Facebook page or put out announcements or whatever. Tonight, I do have to compliment, was the most I've heard anybody talk about anything in years. You know, here, even giving the FEMA report. I appreciate that. That's what we want to hear. I mean, I'm gonna say good too. I mean, that's nice, but I don't know. Anyway, that's enough for me tonight. I think there was enough there. I don't want to go any further. It's been a lot to listen to, so, and I just hope we can do better in the future, because it doesn't look good at all.
Thank you. Bob.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, close the meeting to the public. Motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Aye.
No action taken after closed session.
Good evening,